Vextal came alone. The Kethver leader wore armor that gleamed like black metal. Tubes and wires connected to his body, giving him extra strength and speed. He carried weapons that could cut through stone and energy shields that could stop any attack. He walked into the preserve's central clearing where Jake waited. "So you are the human who thinks he is a predator," Vextal said. His voice was amplified by his armor's speakers. Jake stood in the middle of the clearing. He wore simple clothes and carried only basic weapons. He looked small compared to the alien warrior. "I don't think I'm a predator," Jake replied. "I know I am." Vextal laughed. "You killed some of my hunters with tricks and traps. That does not make you dangerous. That makes you clever prey." "Your hunters were soft," Jake said. They had forgotten what real fighting looks like. They thought advanced weapons made them strong. They were wrong. Vextal activated his energy weapons. Blue light surrounded his claws. "I am not soft, human. I have conquered worlds. I have killed kings and generals. You are nothing." The fight began. Vextal was fast. Faster than any human could be. He struck at Jake with energy claws that could cut through steel. But Jake was not there. He rolled away and came up throwing stones with perfect aim. The stones bounced off Vextal's armor. The alien laughed. "Is that your best attack?" "Throwing rocks like a primitive?" Jake smiled. "Sometimes primitive works best." Jake had not been trying to hurt Vextal with the stones. He had been testing the armor, looking for weak points. Now he saw what he needed to see. The two fighters circled each other. Vextal shot energy bolts from his weapons. Jake dodged and weaved. He used the trees and rocks for cover. He made Vextal chase him around the clearing. Stand still and fight. Vextal roared. "Why? This is working fine." Jake was making Vextal angry on purpose. Angry fighters make mistakes. They waste energy. They stop thinking clearly. After 10 minutes of chasing, Vextal was breathing hard. His armor was overheating. Jake could see steam coming from the cooling. Then stop now. Jake changed tactics. Instead of running, Jake attacked. He came in, low and fast. He had a simple knife in his hand. The blade was sharp metal, not energy. It could not cut through armor, but it could fit into small spaces. Jake slid under Vextal's energy claws and drove the knife into a joint in the armor. Sparks flew. One of Vextal's weapon systems went dead. Vextal swung his tail like a club. Jake jumped over it and stabbed another weak spot. More sparks. More systems failing. "Impossible," Vextal said. "My armor is perfect. No primitive weapon can damage it." "Your armor is good," Jake agreed. "But you built it wrong. You made it to fight other aliens with energy weapons. You never thought about fighting someone who uses simple tools the right way." Jake kept attacking the joints and connections. Each strike was precise. Each hit disabled something important. Jake had studied the armor design from captured equipment. He knew exactly where to strike. Vextal was getting slower. His enhanced strength was failing. His weapon systems were shutting down one by one. "This is not possible," he said. His voice was weaker now. "This is evolution," Jake replied. "Your species conquered worlds with technology. But my species survived by being smarter than our tools." Jake made his final move. He grabbed a heavy rock and threw it at Vextal's helmet. The rock cracked the faceplate. Air hissed out. Vextal fell to his knees. His armor was dead. His weapons were broken. He looked up at Jake with fear in his yellow eyes. "You are going to kill me," he said. Jake stood over the fallen alien. "No, you are going to live. You are going to tell everyone what happened here." "Why?" "Because a dead enemy can't spread the word. But a living enemy who has been defeated becomes a message." Jake helped Vextal to his feet. The alien was confused. What message? Jake looked at him seriously. Humans are not prey anymore. Jake led Vextal to the Preserve's communication center. Using the alien's own equipment, Jake sent a message throughout the galaxy. The message went to every criminal organization, every illegal hunting operation, every alien government. "This is Jake Morrison, representing the human species," he said. "For too long, aliens have treated humans like animals to be hunted. This ends now. Any alien who captures, hunts, or harms humans will face the consequences. We are no longer victims. We are no longer weak. We are what we have always been, survivors from the most dangerous world in the galaxy." Within hours, the message had spread across thousands of worlds. Some aliens laughed. Others were curious. But those who had dealt with human prisoners before began to worry. Jake freed all the remaining human captives. Using captured alien ships, he sent them back to their home worlds. But they did not return the same. They carried new knowledge. They knew how to fight back. They knew they were not helpless. The rescued colonists spread the word to other human colonies. Defense forces were organized. Training programs began. Humans started reconnecting with their home world, Earth. On Earth, governments that had been quietly watching the galactic situation decided it was time to act. Earth's military, which had never stopped preparing for war, began reaching out to the human colonies. Within a year, the galactic perception of humanity had changed completely. Alien pirates who used to capture human ships now avoided them. Criminal organizations stopped hunting humans for sport. Even legitimate alien governments began treating human colonies with more respect. Jake returned to Earth as a hero, but he did not stay long. He joined the new human defense force that was being formed. His job was to train colonists in combat and survival, to teach them what it meant to be human. The Kethver hunting preserves were abandoned. No alien wanted to risk hunting humans anymore. The species that had seemed like harmless prey had revealed their true nature. In space stations and alien bars across the galaxy, a new story was told. The story of the humans who turned the hunters into the hunted. The story of Jake Morrison. And the day the prey became predators. But the most important part of the story was not about Jake. It was about what humanity had remembered about itself. They had mistaken human kindness for weakness. They had mistaken civilization for softness. They had mistaken colony world peace for the true nature of Terra. The galaxy learned that there is nothing more dangerous than a human who has decided to stop being polite. And in the darkness between the stars, other threats began to take notice. Earth was no longer a forgotten world. Humanity was no longer scattered prey. The galaxy's most dangerous species had remembered what they were capable of, and they were ready to remind everyone else. Vextal arrived on the Preserve with 20 of his best warriors. They wore the finest armor and carried the most advanced weapons. Each warrior had killed hundreds of creatures across dozens of worlds. Jake watched them through stolen scanning. Equipment. The aliens set up a command post near the center of the Preserve. They had weapons that could see through walls, track heat from miles away, and detect the smallest movement. "Look at all that gear," Danny whispered. They were hiding on a hill overlooking the alien camp. "Expensive toys," Jake replied. "But toys don't win fights. Smart thinking wins fights." Jake had spent the last week preparing. He knew every cave, every stream, every dangerous animal in this part of the Preserve. He had set traps along all the main paths. He had weapons hidden in a dozen different spots. Most importantly, he had studied the enemy. "Kethver have better eyes than us," Jake explained to his group. "But they see heat, not details. Their hearing is good, but they can't hear as high or low as we can. They're stronger and faster, but they need to eat more often." Lisa was working on a small device she had built from alien parts. What about? Their armor? Good against energy weapons. Not so good against sharp rocks at high speed. Jake picked up a simple sling he had made. Old Earth weapons still work. Dr. Patterson had been studying the alien prisoners they had captured. I found something interesting about their biology. They can't regulate body temperature as well as humans. Too hot or too cold makes them slow and stupid. Jake nodded. We can use that? The alien communicator crackled. Vextal's voice came through. Human leader, he said. I know you can hear me. My name is Vextal. I am the master of this preserve. You have caused me problems. This will stop now. Jake picked up the communicator. Hello, Vextal. Having a bad week? There was silence. Then Vextal spoke again. His voice was angry. You think you are clever, human, but you are still just prey. I have brought my finest warriors. They have never failed. You will die slowly. Maybe, Jake said, but your hunters keep dying fast. How does that feel? It feels like you are about to learn why my species conquered 12 star systems. Jake smiled. And you're about to learn why mine survived on the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. The hunt began at dawn. Vextal split his warriors into 4 teams. Each team had advanced tracking gear and heavy weapons. They moved in perfect formation through the preserve. Jake had predicted this. He let them come into the area he had prepared. The first team walked into a narrow canyon. Jake had spent 2 days rigging rocks above the canyon walls. When the team was halfway through, he triggered the trap. Tons of stone fell down. 2 warriors were crushed. The others were trapped. The second team tried to cross a stream. The water looked shallow and safe. It was not. Jake had dug deep holes under the water and covered them with thin branches. 3 warriors fell through and were swept. Away by the current. The third team moved through thick forest. Jake had learned which animals in the preserve were most dangerous. He had used alien scent markers to bring a pack of razor claws to that area. The beasts attacked the warriors. Energy weapons killed the animals, but not before 2 more warriors died. Vextal's voice came over the communicator. He sounded less confident. Clever traps, human. But now I know your methods. My remaining warriors will not fall for such simple tricks. Those weren't tricks, Jake replied. Those were just warm-ups. The 4th team was led by Zarkith. He was young and angry about his earlier defeats. He moved carefully, checking for traps and ambushes. Jake let him come close. Very close. When Zarkith's team was 50 feet away from Jake's cave, Jake appeared on a rock above them. He held an alien energy rifle. Looking for me? He called out. The warriors spun around and fired. Energy bolts lit up the air. But Jake was already gone. He had dropped behind the rocks, but what the warriors did not know was that Jake had spent days preparing this exact spot. He knew every rock, every shadow, every line of sight. Jake appeared on their left side. He fired 3 quick shots, then vanished again. 1 warrior fell. He appeared on their right. 2 more shots. Another warrior down. Zarkith was furious. Stand and fight like a warrior. Jake's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. I am fighting like a warrior, a human warrior. The remaining warriors spread out to search for him. This was exactly what Jake wanted. Separated enemies were easier to kill. Jake moved through the rocks like a ghost. He had learned stealth from the best teachers in the Earth military. He struck fast and disappeared faster. One by one, Zarkith's warriors fell. Not to advanced alien weapons, but to rocks thrown with deadly accuracy, to simple blade traps, to the kind of guerrilla tactics that Earth humans had used for thousands of years. Finally, only Zarkith was left. Show yourself, coward! The alien screamed. Jake stepped out from behind a boulder. He held no weapon. Zarkith raised his energy rifle. Foolish Ewan, you think you can face me with no weapon? Jake smiled. I don't need a weapon. You're going to give me yours. Zarkith fired. Jake was already moving. The energy bolt hit rocks, where he had been standing. Jake rolled, picked up a stone, and threw it hard at Zarkith's weapon. The stone hit the rifle and knocked it from the alien's hands. Zarkith drew a long knife. He was bigger and stronger than Jake. He had trained in combat since childhood, but Jake had trained for war. The fight was short. Jake used the alien's size against him. Every time Zarkith swung the knife, Jake was somewhere else. Jake hit pressure points that Dr. Patterson had taught him about. He struck joints and nerve clusters. Zarkith fell to his knees. Jake picked up the alien's own knife. You fought well, Jake said, for prey. He knocked Zarkith unconscious, but did not kill him. Jake picked up the communicator. Vextal was calling for his teams to report. This is Jake Morrison, Jake said. Your teams are finished. Your best warriors are dead or captured. You have two choices. Leave this preserve and never hunt humans again, or come face me yourself. There was long silence. Then Vextal spoke. His voice was cold with rage. I will come, human. I will come, and I will kill you slowly. Then I will hunt every human in the galaxy until your species is extinct. Looking forward to it, Jake replied. Jake looked at his friends. They had watched the whole fight from hidden positions. One more to go, he said. Jake sat in the cave they had found. The alien communication device was in his hands. He listened to the hunter teams talking to each other. Team 3, report, a voice said. Silence. Team 3, respond. More silence. Jake smiled. Team 3 was the group he had stopped yesterday. This is Team Leader Zarkith, another voice said. Team 3 is not responding. Something is wrong. Probably just equipment problems, the first voice replied. Continue the hunt. Jake turned off the device. Lisa was watching him from across the cave. You understand their language? She asked. Some of it, Jake said. I pick up languages fast. It's useful in war. Kate was sitting next to her husband, Danny. She looked scared. Jake, can you tell us about Earth? About where you really come from? Jake was quiet for a long time. Then he started talking. Most colony worlds were settled by people who wanted peace, he said. They left Earth to get away from fighting and wars. They found nice planets where they could farm and build safe lives. Dr. Patterson was cleaning alien weapons with a piece of cloth. But not everyone left? No, millions stayed on Earth. Earth stayed the same. Hard, dangerous. We kept fighting each other. We kept having wars. We kept learning how to kill. Jake stood up and walked to the cave opening. Outside, the orange sky was getting dark. When I was 8 years old, my city was attacked by enemy soldiers, Jake said. My father taught me to hide in the old subway tunnels. He taught me to find food in water. He taught me to move without making sound. That's terrible, Kate said. Softly. Maybe, but it kept me alive. When I was 16, I joined the Earth military. They sent me to fight on a world called Krios. The air there could kill you in 10 minutes. The ground was covered with acid. Everything wanted to eat you. Lisa moved closer. How did you survive? You learn fast or you die fast, Jake said. I learned to read enemy movement patterns. I learned to make traps and bombs from nothing. I learned that every creature, no matter how strong, has weak points. Jake picked up one of the alien weapons. He had figured out how to turn it on and off. These hunters think they are the top predators, he said. But they never had to fight something that fights back smart. They hunt animals and weak prey. They don't know real war. Danny was looking at Jake with new eyes. So you're like a soldier? All humans from Earth are soldiers, Jake said. We have to be. Earth never got soft like the colony worlds. Jake activated the alien communicator again. He had learned how to change the frequency. Now he could hear all the hunter teams. This is Team Leader Zarkith, the voice said. I found signs of Team 3. They are dead. 2 killed by falling rocks. Equipment missing. There was silence for a moment. Then another voice spoke. Impossible. Humans cannot kill Kethfer hunters. I am looking at their bodies, Zarkith said. His voice was angry. The humans set a trap. They used rocks and gravity. This was not luck. Jake turned to his group. They're getting scared. Good. Fear makes you make mistakes. Over the next 3 days, Jake taught his friends things their colony world lives had never prepared them for. He showed Lisa how to make simple bombs from the alien power cells. He taught Danny and Kate how to move without being seen or heard. He helped Dr. Patterson learn the weak spots in Kethvor anatomy. Their scales are strong, Jake explained, pointing to a picture he had drawn. But here, at the neck joints, there are gaps. Here at the back of their knees. And here, where their tail connects to their spine. Dr. Patterson studied the drawing. If you hit those spots, they go down fast. Jake also used the alien equipment to contact other groups of humans still alive in the preserve. Most groups had lost people to the hunters, but some were still fighting. This is Jake Morrison, he said into the communicator. Any human groups listening, respond. A woman's voice came through. This is Maria Santos. I have 12 people with me. We're hiding in the desert area. Stay hidden, Jake said. I'm going to teach you how to fight back. Jake spent hours teaching the other groups through the radio. He told them how to set traps, how to use the environment, how to find and attack the hunters' weak points. The results came fast. Within 2 days, 5 more hunter teams had been killed or wounded by human survivors. Jake listened to the hunters' communications. They were not happy anymore. They were confused and afraid. The humans are not acting normal, one hunter said. They attack us, they set traps, they know our weaknesses. It's just one group, another hunter replied. Find them and kill them. No, said a new voice. Jake recognized it as Vextal, the leader. This is not just one group. 7 teams have been attacked. The humans are coordinating. Someone is teaching them. Jake smiled. Vextal was smart. That would make him dangerous. Find the leader, Vextal ordered. Kill him, and the others will go back to running and hiding. Jake turned off the communicator. Lisa was watching him. They know you're the one teaching everyone, she said. Good. That means they'll come for me instead of hunting the other groups. That's dangerous. Jake checked his weapons. He had learned to use the alien energy guns. He had also made several primitive weapons from rocks and metal pieces. Everything is dangerous, he said. But I know something they don't. What's that? Jake looked at her. His eyes were hard and cold. For a moment, Lisa saw what he really was. Not just a colonist or a survivor. A predator from a world that never stopped making predators. They think they're hunting me, Jake said, but I'm hunting them. Outside the cave, the alien night was full of strange sounds. Somewhere in the darkness, Vextal and his best hunters were coming. Jake was ready for them. The cage doors opened with a soft hiss. Jake stepped out and looked around. All 50 humans were free now, standing in the big room. Most of them looked scared. Some were already crying. Vextal's voice came from speakers in the walls. You have 1 hour. The outer door is now open. Use your time well. Jake saw the big door at the end of the room slide open. Bright sunlight came through. Some people ran toward it right away. Others stood still, too scared to move. "Wait," Jake called. Out loud, everyone stopped. A few people looked at him, but most kept moving toward the door. "Listen to me," Jake said louder. "If we all run out there with no plan, we will all die fast. We need to stick together. We need to be smart." An old man with gray hair walked over. "I'm Frank Patterson. I was the ship's doctor." "What do you think we should do?" "First, we pick a small group," Jake said. "Too many people make too much noise. 5 or 6 people max." A young woman with short brown hair came over. "I'm Lisa Campbell. I was the engineer. I want to go with you." A young man and woman holding hands walked up. "I'm Danny Sullivan," the man said. "This is my wife, Kate. We want to come too." Dr. Patterson nodded. "That makes 5. Good." Jake looked at the other people still in the room. "The rest of you need to split into small groups. Don't all go the same way. Spread out. Make the hunters work harder." Most of the people were not listening. They were too scared. They ran out the door in a big crowd. "They won't last long," Jake said quietly. His group walked to the door. Outside was a huge area of wilderness. Jake could see thick forests, tall mountains, and a river in the distance. The sky was orange instead of blue. 2 suns hung in the air. "It's beautiful," Kate said. "It's a trap," Jake replied. "Everything here is designed to kill us or help the hunters find us." They walked away from the building. Jake looked for a good direction to go. Most of the other humans were running toward the forest. That was a mistake. "This way," Jake said, pointing toward some rocky hills. "The forest looks safe, but it's not. Too many places for hunters to hide. Rocks are better." "How do you know this stuff?" Lisa asked as they walked. Jake was quiet for a moment. "I grew up different than you." They walked for 20 minutes. Jake kept looking around. He was checking for cameras, sensors, anything that could track them. He found 3 small metal devices hidden in trees. "They're watching," he told the group. "But I think I can fix that." Jake picked up some rocks and threw them at the devices. His aim was perfect. All 3 devices broke. "Nice shot," Danny said. "Basic training," Jake replied. They kept walking. Jake led them up into the rocky hills. The ground was hard here. They would leave fewer footprints. There were also lots of caves and places to hide. After an hour, they heard sounds in the distance. Loud roars and electronic beeps. The hunt had started. "Find cover," Jake said. Now, they hid behind some big rocks. Soon they heard voices, not human voices. The hunters were coming. Jake looked around the rock. He saw 3 of the lizard creatures walking up the hill. They wore black armor and carried glowing weapons. One of them had a device that was beeping. Softly. "Heat tracker," Jake whispered to the others. "They can see our body heat." The hunters got closer. The beeping got louder. Jake knew they would be found in a few seconds. "Stay here," he told his group. "Don't move no matter what happens." Jake picked up a sharp rock and moved away from the others. He made noise on purpose. The hunters heard him and turned toward the sound. "There," one hunter said in broken human language. "Human hiding." They walked toward Jake. He waited until they were close, then threw the rock hard at the first hunter's head. The rock hit the hunter's helmet and made a loud crack. The hunter stumbled. Jake ran. The hunters chased him, making angry sounds. Jake led them away from his friends. He ran between rocks and up steep paths. The hunters were fast, but Jake knew how to use the ground to his advantage. He found what he was looking for. A narrow path between 2 big rocks. Jake ran through it. The hunters followed. On the other side was a steep drop. Jake stopped just in time. The first hunter was not so lucky. It ran too fast and could not stop. It fell down the drop and hit the rocks below hard. The other two hunters were more careful. They pointed their weapons at Jake. "Stupid human," one said. "You only delay your death." Jake smiled. "Maybe, but I learned something." "What?" "You're not as smart as you think." Jake had been ready for this. While they talked, he had loosened a big rock above them. Now he pushed it. The rock fell and hit both hunters. They fell down. Jake looked down at the three hunters. Two were not moving. One was trying to get up, but his leg was broken. Jake climbed down and took their weapons and equipment. He did not know how to use the alien weapons, but he took them anyway. He also took their communication device and tracking gear. When he got back to his group, they were staring at him. "You killed them," Kate said. Her voice was shaking. "Two of them," Jake said. "The third one will live, but he can't hunt anymore." "How?" "Did you do that?" Lisa asked. Jake looked at all of them. They needed to know the truth. "I'm not like you," he said. "You all come from colony worlds, peaceful places. You never had to fight or kill. But I come from Earth, the real Earth. We never stopped learning how to fight." Dr. Patterson was looking at the alien equipment. "What are these?" "Tools," Jake said. "We're going to learn how to use them. Then we're going to turn this hunt around." "What do you mean?" Danny asked. Jake checked the alien communication device. He could hear other hunting parties talking to each other. They sounded confident and happy. They thought this would be easy. "I mean, we stopped being prey," Jake said. "Starting. Now we hunt them." Jake Morrison woke up on cold metal. His head hurt bad. The last thing he remembered was walking to his quarters on the New Haven colony ship. Now he was lying in a small metal cage with bars all around him. He sat up slow and looked around. There were more cages everywhere. In each cage was a person from his ship. Men, women, kids, old people. All of them looked scared and confused. The room was big and dark. Strange blue lights hung from the ceiling. "Jake, are you okay?" Someone called out. Jake turned and saw Lisa Campbell in the cage next to him. She was the ship's engineer. Her face was pale, and her hands shook as she held the bars. "I think so," Jake said. His voice was rough. "What happened? Where are we?" "I don't know," Lisa said. "I woke up here like everyone else." Jake stood up and tested the bars. They were strong, too strong to bend or break. He looked at the lock on his cage door. It was not like any lock he had seen before. It glowed with a soft red light. A loud noise came from one end of the room. A door slid open. Something walked in that made Jake's blood run cold. The thing was tall, maybe 8 feet. It walked on 2 legs like a person, but it was not human. Its skin was green and covered with scales. It had a long tail that moved behind it. Its head looked like a snake, but bigger. Yellow eyes looked at all the cages. Sharp teeth showed when it opened its mouth. More of these creatures came in behind the first one. They all wore dark clothes that looked like uniforms. They carried weapons that Jake had never seen. The weapons hummed with energy. The first creature walked to the middle of the room. When it spoke, its voice was deep and cold. "Humans," it said. "You are now on the world of Zerion Prime. My name is Vexdale. I am your host." Some people in the cages started crying. Others shouted questions. Vexdale waited for them to get quiet. "You have been brought here for a special purpose," Vexdale sighed. "For many years, my people have run hunting games on this world. Rich beings from across the galaxy come here to hunt. But normal animals became boring. We needed better prey." Jake felt his stomach drop. He knew what was coming. "Humans make perfect prey," Vexdale said. "You are smart enough to be interesting. You can use tools. You try to hide and run. But you are also weak. You break easy. You die quick when we catch you." A woman in a far cage screamed. A man started shouting angry words at Vikstal. The creature just smiled, showing more of its sharp teeth. "We have hunted over 3,000 humans in the past 10 years, Vikstal said. "Hunters from 12 different species come here to test their skills. The longest any human group has lasted is 6 days. Most die in 2 days." Jake looked around at the other people. Most of them were colonists. They had lived quiet lives on farming worlds. They had never hurt anyone. They did not know how to fight or hide or survive in the wild, but Jake was different. He knew things they did not know. "Tomorrow, you will be released into our hunting preserve," Vikstal said. "It is a large area with forests, mountains, rivers, and deserts. There are also dangerous animals and traps. The hunters will give you a 1-hour head start. Then they will come for you. Why are you doing this?" Lisa called out. Vikstal looked at her. "Because it is fun. Because it is profitable. Because we can." He turned to leave, then stopped. "Oh, and one more thing. Some of you may think about trying to fight back. Do not. Our hunters have the best weapons and armor. They can see in the dark. They can track your heat. They can hear your heart beat from far away. You cannot win. You can only run and hide and hope to last longer than the others." Vikstal and his guards left. The door slid shut with a loud clang. The room filled with voices. People cried and shouted and asked questions no one could answer. But Jake was quiet. He was thinking. He had not told anyone on the colony ship where he really came from. All the other colonists were from peaceful worlds. Worlds where people grew food and built homes and raised families. Worlds where no one fought wars anymore. But Jake was from Earth, the real Earth, the old Earth, the Earth that most of the galaxy had forgotten about. On Earth, things were different. People still knew how to fight. They still knew how to hunt. They still knew how to kill when they had to. Jake had learned these things as a boy. He had served in Earth's military. He had fought in wars on worlds where the ground was poison, and the air could kill you. The colonists around him were prey. Vikstal was right about that. They would run and hide and die. But Jake was not prey. Jake was a predator. These aliens were about to learn what that meant. He sat down in his cage and closed his eyes. He needed to think. He needed to remember everything he had learned about hunting and fighting and staying alive. Tomorrow, the hunt would begin. But Vikstal had made one big mistake. He thought all humans were the same god. He was about to find out how wrong he was.